I-17F had taken exam this year for the first time. The score determine which college you get into. My older sister 20F has been retaking hers for the last 3 years in hope of getting into med school, but she ended up getting the same score each year, and yet decided to retake it again this year. I would be lying to say that didn't annoy me a bit, since my parents were focused more on my sister because, well, she was in a sense a study freak. I don't mean that in an offensive manner, it's just how she's like. And as they put it, you can handle yourself, you're mature. But she could get a bit troublesome. I don't know if that was meant to be reassuring, cause all I felt was like I was facing all of my shit on my own, and I didn't want that. I wanted support. Fast forward to the exam. Things went good, and then came the result. You check your results online, and if you're still a student and do pass, the school would hold a graduation ceremony the same night. I got a 1820, which meant I could easily get into, well, any college I'll apply to. Sister on the other hand got for the fourth time the same score, and she started sobbing. And it did hurt me to see her like that. I tried to reassure her, but she wouldn't take it, and acted like I was the reason she got the said score. That night we got ready for my graduation, and as we were about to leave, my sister locked herself in her room and wouldn't answer to anybody. We were running late, so my parents asked me to walk to the school, and they'll follow me soon after with her. I ended up walking in heels to school at like 7/8 p.m., and I was already feeling like shit as it was. Got there, went on stage, they called my name, got my certificate. People were taking pictures and celebrating with their families, and I was just there on the side while my friends were surrounded by their loved ones, ended up being dropped off by one of their parents. Yet at home, they acted like everything was normal, asking me how it went and such, like they didn't just ditch on me. My sister was also there. Turns out she did get out a couple of hours later, and needed to talk, so they had to be there for her. When I started crying and they looked at me like I grew a second head and asked for me to chill and take things slow, and for me to try and put myself in her shoes, and that my reaction is so insensitive. I felt like I was gaslight. Did I overreact? She always do this, whether that's for attention or for whatever reason. For all I know, she isn't suicidal or a harm to herself, so why would she come before me? 4 o'clock in the morning, and still there's no way we're going to sleep. Not after the film we just saw. The book we just read. Fear is one of the most primal human emotions, and one of the hardest to reason with and dispel. So why do we scare ourselves? It seems almost mad that we would frighten ourselves for fun, and yet there are thousands of books, films, games, and other forms of entertainment designed to do exactly that. As Daryl Jones shows, the horror genre is huge. Ranging from vampires, ghosts, and werewolves to mad scientists, Satanists, and deranged serial killers, the cathartic release of scaring ourselves has made its appearance in everything from Shakespearean tragedies to internet memes. Exploring the key tropes of the genre, including its monsters, its psychological chills, and its love affair with the macabre, this very short introduction discusses why horror stories disturb us, and how society responds to literary and film representations of the gruesome and taboo. Should the enjoyment of horror be regarded with suspicion? Are there different levels of the horrific? And should we distinguish between the commonly reviled carnage of contemporary torture porn and the culturally acceptable bloodbaths of ancient Greek tragedies? Analyzing the way in which horror manifests multiple personalities, and has been used throughout history to articulate the fears and taboos of the current generation, Daryl Jones considers the continuing evolution of the genre today. As horror is mass-marketed to mainstream society in the form of romantic vampires and blockbuster hits, it also continues to maintain its former shadowy presence on the edges of respectability. As banned films and violent internet phenomena push us to question both our own preconceptions and the terrifying capacity of There was once a man who had, but he was afraid to go into business because of his money. Then he went away, not wanting to give anything to other people lest he should become poorer. A neighbor of theirs, a woman, said to his wife, "You had better buy some spring chickens. They will soon grow into fowls, and you can sell each fowl for 2.5 piastres or perhaps 3 piastres, and so you will make a good profit." The wife replied, "Very well, when my husband comes, I will tell him of it." When her husband came in, she said to him, "You had better buy some spring chickens so that we may make a good profit out of them." At present, 10 spring chickens cost 1 piastre, but after a while when they grow big, we can sell them for 2.5 piastres each and so make a good deal. Her husband replied, "Very good, you are a clever woman." So he gave his wife 1,000 piastres, and she bought spring chickens with 500 of them and corn with the other 500. She put the chickens into a quart and crushed the corn and threw it to the chickens and shut the door upon them. But a kite came and picked out some of the chickens, a weasel came and carried off some others. After a little time, the man and his wife went to see the chickens. They found only one of them left. Then the man said to his wife, "Cook the cock, and we will dine off it." His wife killed the cock and cooked it. When her husband came, he said to her, "Who can dine off 1,000 piastres? It can only be the Sultan. If I should make such a dinner, everyone would say, 'This fellow is mad, no one dines for 1,000 piastres.'" Except